Hey folks, what's going on? I'm running right on time. Looks like we don't have very many viewers in here. I guess maybe Saturday morning isn't the best time to do this, but I'll tell you what. The main purpose of doing these broadcasts is not only for the educational purpose of being able to teach people what's going on, but also just to make sure that we keep everything straight on the up and up as to what's going on with these rolls. Now, this is the roll that we're going to be working on today. Now, this might take a little bit of prying, a little bit of ingenuity to get open, but the coins inside look pretty nice. It doesn't look foggy, hazy, rusty, or anything else. So here's my 50 flips. I've got those ready to go. And I have 50 names here. Now, I don't have anything for the wrapper because there is no wrapper this time around. Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started on this. Pry this end cap off. Okay. Coin number 1 came out with the end cap. And then the next chore is getting the rest of the coins into an unsettled tilt. Once you can get the coins into an unsettled tilt, you could take the other end cap off. There's usually an end cap on both ends of these. And both of them are usually kind of stuck, just like the other. Neither one of them are the front or the back, or top or bottom, or however you want to say it. But once you start getting a coin or two out, using very clean fingers and or Q-tip and or something that won't abrasively destroy the coins, you can work on pushing on one end of the tube while you tap the other end on a desk, and very slowly you'll start to see coins come out. And one after the other, they will eventually start falling out of the tube. This is obviously not something I have worked on prior to this show, because these things are a lot more difficult than it seems. I'm going to take my little tool, and I'm going to push gently on, I wish you could see this. Take this little tool right here, this plastic tool, and I'm going to very gently push on the coins on one end of the tube, and they will start to lean their way out on the other end. You see this right here? How they're starting to lean in one direction. Now I can push them from the other end and pop. They come right out. Right here. Then I just squeeze the plastic a little bit, and the coins pour right out of the plastic. That's how you get these open. Come on. Last one. Come on. There we go. It's coin number 50 being a little bit cantankerous with us. All right. There we go. Now, these little guys, these are very pliable tubes. They're very thin plastic. And once you can get those end caps off and start getting those coins tilted in one direction, you can just push on them from the other end and they come right out. There's nothing about freezing or boiling or any of that kind of stuff you have to do with these particular tubes, because these things are they're so mashy, you know, thin. Anyhow, there we go. We've got our coins out. Get my keyboard out of the way so I can scoot in a little bit. And we can work together on getting the rest of these coins looked at. And get up close here. Okay, so coin number 1. And get these into the bag. Hey everybody. Hawkeye, Bill, Steve, Joe, Adam, AZ Coins, Jeff Dunn, Todd Carmen, Donald Harmon, Brian's World Mechanic, the Right Channel, Joshua Wright. All right, I got them all mixed up. going to go in for coin number 1. See who belongs to coin number 1. That would be Joe McBride. And Joe is currently here, so we're going to get to see this coin together for the first time ever. Let's see what it is. Okay, this is a 1958 D-roll, exactly as I had stated. This is an uncirculated coin, however, it does not appear to have any die variety on it. On 1958D especially, we're looking for doubled eyelids. We're looking for doubling on the bottom of the B of Liberty. And we're looking for repunch mint marks. There's also a double die that shows in the 9 of the date. It shows as an extra curve to the top of the 9 of the date. On the reverse, we're not necessarily looking for anything that's already known, because there are no listed double die reverses for the 1958D issue. However, that doesn't stop us from looking, correct? Because looking is the only way we're going to find something, discovered or not. It's the only way we're ever going to know that we don't have anything for sure, is to check. So it's coin number 1 for Joe McBride. And get this tube out of here. Get my tool out of the way. Start stacking coins. Hello, Jeremy. Doug Reese gets the next coin. Coin number 2. We'll go to Mr. Reese. So I've got a few spots on this one. Got a struck through right out there in the middle of the field. You can tell that's a struck through and not a hit on the coin, because there is no rise, there is no finning on the edges of that sunken area. So there had to have been something retaining the edges from coming up like the edge of a crater. And what that something was the die. The field of the die kept that from rising any further. There's some stains on this one, just a few little stains. And no RPM. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Nope. That's a grease-filled die right there. You're missing detail. You have a sunken high relief, and you are showing little tiny speckle marks all over the area that's affected, as well as the field immediately adjacent to the area affected. So this is a grease-filled die. There's more grease right up in here. Doesn't necessarily affect anything, but you can still see it in the rough mottled appearance of the field in that area. And that's what we've got for coin number 2 for Doug Reese. And that grease-filled die area on the lower right side of the reverse is definitely very visible at arm's length. It's a shortened and shinier area than what it should be. That is an error, but it's a minor error. Farm Dog gets the next coin. Let's see, what do we have for Farm Dog? I'm showing nothing so far. No die variety to be noted on this particular coin. On the obverse, anyway. Looking under the L to be sure that there's not a bar L under there. There's another little struck through area right there. It's grime, grease, grit, something, but it's way down there about halfway between the B of Liberty and the rim below it. Yeah, okay. Moving right along to the reverse. Mark in the D. The D of the mint mark. There is a hit on the lower section of the D. If that's what we're talking about, there's a hit. And the D of God. Looks like there's a scrape underneath the D of God. And those are the only 2 D's on the obverse of this coin. Morning, Mr. Lungy. Let's take a quick look at the reverse to make sure that we're not missing anything error-like to be spoken of. We do have a weak strike on this one. A weak strike is going to be evidenced by the fact that the top of the O of 1 is not quite complete. The PLU of pluribus is very weak. And the reason this is your number one weakness area on the reverse of a wheat cent is because exactly opposite that area is right here. High point of the shoulder. High point of the shoulder chews up a lot of metal when you strike the coin. So if you don't strike it absolutely and completely, you end up with this just opposite that shoulder. And so you end up with weakness in any area that has high relief on one side and detail on the other side. You end up with weakness in that area. All right, Sissy comes next. Let's see what Sissy gets in her coin. No telling whether she's awake this morning. Just got back home from a long trip. I imagine she's probably sleeping in. Although it's 11:15 in the morning in Florida, so. Well, in most parts of Florida. They do have Lower Alabama, which is the western panhandle of Florida. They're on Central Time Zone. But the rest of Florida is Eastern Time Zone. I have a little bit of weakness in the strike again on this side. Now, if I mention weakness in strike on one side of the coin, that doesn't mean that that is the only side that's weak. If you have weakness in strike, you're going to have weakness in strike on both sides of the coin because both sides are struck at the same time. So you can't have one side that's weak and the other side that's not weak. If there's weakness only on one side of the coin, it's something other than the strike causing that. Jessica's auction will be tomorrow. Coin Night Live Auction Weekend Edition will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. Jessica has a full lineup of items ready for auction. As soon as she wakes up, she'll post a link. That's right. It's 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific. And that's going to be tomorrow. Sunday, the 26th. And then Tuesday, the 28th, we will be having a regular auction. It will be our regular Tuesday night auction at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Coppercoins channel. Let's see. Not seeing anything on this one that is a speaker. It's not talking to me. It doesn't say I need to talk about it. So we'll move on. That one's for Mr. Marshall. It's coin number 5 in the roll. Sometimes with these 58D rolls, you don't run into anything, and then sometimes you run into a whole lot of goodies. So, a whole lot of goodies. Doug Reese. Let's see if we can get that started for you. There's a filled B. Well, that'll kind of get us started, I guess. What do we have here? Another weakly struck coin. Seems that's going to be the rule with this particular roll. Weakness in the strike and a few spots here and there. Very average coins, unfortunately. Let's take a look at the next one. It's going to be Deanne. And I do believe we could have a minor repunchment mark here. Let's see. Nope. Not really seeing anything. I thought I was there for a minute, but I guess I'm not. Alright. Got no bar under the L. Got no bar under the B. No doubling in God We Trust. And no doubled eyelid. We have a normal Lincoln cent. So I'll flip it over, take a look at the reverse. See what we end up with on the reverse. And it looks like we have a normal reverse. Okay. I'll move on to coin number 8. So that's for DN. Coin number 7 there. Coin number 8 will be for Hawkeye. Hawkeye gets coin number 8. If you'll notice, I am wearing a Coppercoins t-shirt. You can get your Coppercoins t-shirts at coinsandcreations.com. It's going to be Amber Panel. If you need to talk to her about anything specific with regard to these shirts or any Coppercoins gear ideas, you can email her at ap@coppercoins.com. ap@coppercoins.com. Her name is Amber. Her last name is Pennell. A white circle. What white circle are we talking about? A white circle bill. That's coin number 8 for Hawkeye. Oh, yeah, that means you're buffering. I didn't know what a white circle meant. Now I understand. Let's see. Oh, I didn't draw a name for this one. Unfortunately, whatever name I draw, they're going to get a normal coin. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, new Marshall in town. We'll get this one. See, it doesn't look like we have any hub doubling on this coin. And it does not appear to be a repunchment mark. There is a flake up there. That's a lamination flake. So it's actually a flake that's working on detaching its way from the coin. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, if you're buffering, I have an excellent connection right now. In fact, YouTube is telling me that I have an excellent connection. So if you are buffering, then it's going to be your connection that is at fault, unfortunately, which means that you will probably benefit from restarting your internet and coming back. That's coin number 9 for Mr. Marshall. A new Marshall in town. All right, coin number 10 will go to Coin Dragon. Coin Dragon gets the next coin. Oh. Kind of disappointing when you don't run into anything in a roll. Just kind of makes the roll kind of drag on forever. I wish we were running into good stuff. I would be more than happy to be handing out a roll full of RPMs and double dies here. I would be more than happy. But unfortunately, as the cookie crumbles, sometimes life hands you lemons. You just have to learn to make lemonade. These are attractive, uncirculated coins. There's Penny Parent's auction list. You can use that to find out what she's going to be running on Coin Night Live Auctions Weekend Edition, Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Now, this one I believe is the same die that I've already run into. I kind of saw what might have been doubled serifs on that coin, but this one I definitely see it. So I'll have to go back and find that coin amongst the others, because this does have a doubled lower serif and a doubled upper serif. On the other coin, it was just a little more difficult to see. And this one is not especially easy to see. Yeah, I'll have to check over this and make sure that this is something that can be listed, or that it already is listed anyway. And if it's not, we'll check it to see if it could be listed. It looks like there's just enough here to list it. Trying to get the angle just right for the lighting. It looks like we only have a doubled serif. I was thinking we might have a tripled lower serif, but it appears to only be a doubled lower serif. Not especially easy to see, but it's definitely there. Alright. You can tell because the upper and the lower serif on this right now kind of look a little fat. Well, that's your key indicator. So that you have extra thickness going on someplace. You have to figure out why it's there. Doesn't appear that we have anything special going on in the reverse of this coin, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in its flip. This one's for Jeff Stanley. I'm going to take this one, put it in its flip, put his name with it, and stick it off to the side. Call it die number 1 on the day. No, that was a flake of metal Jeff done. That was not a die chip in the date. I should have said that when I was looking at it, but I could tell it was a little flake of metal sitting in there. All right, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall again? Now, this is interesting. This is not a flake of metal. This is a die chip in the 9. And this actually is a coin from the very die as to how Bob Piazza and I met years ago. He sent a photograph thinking that that could be an RPM, a misplaced mint mark, with the corner of a D inside the 9. And as it turns out, we discussed it, and because the outer edge of the 9 is nearly perfect in condition and shape, and there's nothing sticking out of the back side of the 9, we determined that that thing on the inside of the 9 is very likely not a part of a mint mark, that it is instead a very well-formed die chip. So that thing on the inside of the 9 there is a die chip. Interesting nonetheless. It does kind of look like the corner of a D mint mark, but it is not. Nothing else on this side. There's another one of those lines. It goes absolutely and clear straight through the coin, but does not turn or change direction at all through the devices, through the letters and numbers, which tells me that this was on the planchette before the coin was struck. Exactly what it is, I'm not sure, but it is a cut. It appears to be like a razor blade cut going all the way across the coin. It was done before the coin was minted. And I still don't know exactly what this is. Sometimes they're straight, sometimes they're curved. Either way, it is absolutely straight as an arrow and is not affected at all by the lettering on the coin, which means that it had to have been there before the coin was struck. Another interesting one. I'm not sure what that is, but it is interesting nonetheless. I'm glad we're getting interesting things out of here. If we're not getting value, at least we're getting something to talk about and learn from. That coin's for New Marshall in town. Let's try the next coin. The next coin's going to be for Shannon McCord. And Shannon's coin appears to be normally in the mint mark area. Date mint mark are normal. No doubled eyelid. Doesn't appear that we have any hub doubling up above. And nothing going on in Liberty. We have a normal obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse. And a reverse. Not expecting anything on the reverse because we don't really have anything listed for the reverse of 1958D. And they have been very well studied. So it's my assumption there probably isn't anything on the reverse of 1958D, which makes this a normal coin for the date mint. And that was coin number 13 for Shannon. All right, Paul Hampton gets the next one. Well, let's see what we have here. Looks like we have nothing special in the date mint mark area. No doubled eyelid. And nothing doubled in Liberty or in God We Trust. A little die crack on the jacket there. It's actually a die crack that runs all the way through the jacket vertically. Another die crack right down here. So we've got a die that appears that it was about to explode on us, but other than that, nothing. No, it's not a donation. You're actually purchasing the coins. You purchased the coins prior to the roll being opened. So all 50 coins in this roll were purchased prior to the opening of the roll. When were they purchased? At the Coppercoins auction, Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The next one is going to be Tuesday, January 28th. And you will have an opportunity to get involved and purchase coins out of future rolls prior to the rolls being opened. Next coin goes to Hawkeye. Sometimes we end up with coins of great value in these rolls. Last night we opened a 1956D roll, and there were two examples of OMM number 2, worth probably about $25 to $30 a coin in that roll. And those coins, when I draw your name and pull a coin, you get the exact coin that you see when I draw your name. There's no substitutions, there's no prizes, there's no donations. Nothing special other than exactly what comes out of the roll. As we go through the roll, I talk about what we find. If we have any die varieties that pop out of the roll, I attribute those die varieties, and we'll put the die number on a flip insert for you before I send the coin to you so that you know exactly what you're getting when you get it. If it happens to be that your coin is nice enough and I need new photos of that particular die, I will take photos of your coin, give you credit for the coin on the website, and send you the coin in a flip insert that says plate coin on it. That way ANAX will know when you send that coin in for grading that your coin was used for the photography on coppercoins.com, and they will annotate that on the holder. Additionally, if you happen to have a new die, one that's new to the system that we don't have listed yet, you'll get that same credit as I would give for a plate coin, except you will also get an annotation on the flip insert that says that it's a new die. So it will be a new discovery plate coin. First we knew about it, first one we photographed. This one goes to Joe McBride. And so at this point in the game, you can't get involved, as in having your own coins for me to examine here, but you can watch what goes on, root for your friends, and see what comes out of the roll. These particular coins, I do believe, were $2. So these spots were $2. If I come up with an uncirculated RPM of pretty much any nature in this roll, you're talking about coins that are worth anywhere between $6 and $10 generally. It's kind of a crapshoot. It's sort of a lottery ticket in a way, because, well, we're hoping for the very best, but we may or may not receive the very best. At the very least, what you're going to end up with is an uncirculated Lincoln cent, because I send you the very coins that come out of this roll. No substitutions, no excuses. You get the coin I pulled out with your name. So Shannon's name came out with this coin. This coin with all these little tiny scratch marks underneath the U in trust will go to Shannon McCord. So you can go back and review this video with the coin in hand, and you will see all of the exact same little marks. A little dent right there in the D of United, on both sides of the D of United. That will be on this coin when Shannon receives it. It's the exact same coin. There's no raffle here. There's no lottery. There's no sweepstakes, no competition, no drawing. I'm merely making a very fair way of purchasing coins in an original bank-wrapped roll that has never been opened. And as we go through the roll, I have to draw names out of the bag to tell you who's going to get that coin. This one goes to Mr. Marshall. New Marshall in town. It's got a lot of luster. Very nice lustrous coin here. This one does have the break in the lower B of Liberty. So we have seen this die before, especially. I've not been keeping track of the individual dies as I usually do, because most of the coins in this roll are not die varieties. So there's not really much of anything special about a lot of these coins, other than they are just uncirculated 1958 D Lincoln cents. And you're very welcome to just listen in, not necessarily watch, because I will tell you when we run into something good. I will be sure to tell you. You'll have plenty of time to come back and take a look at it. Hello, Coin Addict. Coin Dragon gets the next one. Coin Dragon will get this coin right here. And on this coin, I see not anything yet. No hub doubling on the obverse. No repunch mint mark. And on the other side, none yet. Yeah, DMC, as soon as you get your PayPal account together and test it and know that it's actually working, you can load money in there from your bank account and let us know what your YouTube screen name is, what your PayPal email address is, and then what your actual given name. We'll get you registered so that you can bid and purchase through our auctions on Tuesday evenings. And when you bid, or when you register to bid in the Tuesday evening auctions with your name and information, you're automatically registered in the Sunday weekend edition auctions as well. So if you get that PayPal together by tomorrow afternoon and get registered with us, we can get your name included so you can actually bid tomorrow afternoon. You can also put your debit card on there. If you put your debit card on there, money will come straight out of your bank account at no fee to you. The email address that you use to register is coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. That's coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. You can send us an email. Let us know that information. We need your YouTube screen name, your real name, and the email address where we're going to bill you for anything you bid on or purchase all wrapped up in one email. Send it off to us. We'll give you confirmation that we received it, and then you'll be ready to bid or purchase at any of our sales. Just got notification yesterday evening that I'm going to be receiving another collection of coins. It's going to be what was described to me as 50 pounds of stuff. All Lincoln cents. So who knows what that's going to be. I'm excited to find out, though. Regardless of what it is, I'll pick it apart, figure out exactly what it is, get the nice goodies out of it, and offer those at auction. At often very low prices. I'm working toward doing a few things. A few different things. One of those things will be selling sponsorship on the shows. Going to be selling 30-second spots where I actually use my talent and skills in graphic design and use my voice to narrate your advertisement 30-second spot for $100 a show. Of course, if you get more of them, I'll give you a deal on that. I'll break it down a little bit more. But you get a 30-second commercial during the intermission on roll reveals. We're going to have an intermission at the 25th coin, or between the 24th and 25th coin. So this is coin number 24 right here. We're not actually going to do it during this show. This is a future event. But we will have a commercial break where we'll show 3 commercials in between the first and second half of the rolls. And that's what I'm talking about, that you can get involved in. You can actually have a commercial that will come during the show that all the participants of the show will get to see. So we are halfway through the roll now. I'm going to go ahead and take a break, but we do know that the next coin is going to go to Coin Dragon. Coin Dragon will get the next coin in the roll. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, give you a chance to refresh, give you a chance to go get yourself a little drink, or use the restroom, whatever you need to do. I'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes between the first half and the second half of the roll here. I'm doing great, Shannon. How about you? DMC, you never know what I could do with 50 pounds of stuff. Man, there's all kinds of different things come in 50 pounds of stuff. Just a matter of getting that 50 pounds of stuff and getting it all spread out and figuring out what it is. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I'm not from southern Utah. I wish I was sometimes. I've been to St. George. Good now that you're off work? I can imagine. Man, going to work can be rough sometimes. Especially when you're all cozy in your bunny slippers and PJs at home. You don't want to have to get up and leave to go to work. Well, it was my understanding that it's 50 pounds of wheat pennies, but I don't really know exactly what it's going to end up being. I did see a picture of the outer container, and in one of the outer containers said something about rolls on it. So I don't know if these are going to be BU rolls. I don't know if they're going to be BU memorial rolls. I don't know if maybe they're going to be circulated rolls of the teens and 20s. I have no idea. I really don't know. It's going to be really interesting to find out, though. Just wondering if you got a commercial spot. Commercial spots are purchased on the show. If you want to purchase a commercial spot, you can let me know and we can discuss it. I will build your commercial for you, or you can send me in an already finished video. All right, Bill, you take care too. Aha, I understand what you're saying now. So, Dylan, you have a show? you have a shop in southern Utah? Why don't you give us the name of your shop? Tell us where it is. We'll do a shout out for you on this one. If you have a shop that has a street address, just type out the street address in the comments there. Eagle Tire, St. George, Utah. So it's a tire shop. It's not a coin shop. Is that correct? Or is Eagle Tire somehow the name of a coin shop? That would be kind of cool, actually. Come to Eagle Tire Coins. So you're in St. George. So it's a full service. It's like a an auto shop where I could come get my oil changed, get my tires changed. Maybe if I had a brake fluid issue, you could fill up my brake fluid and bleed my brakes for me. Awesome. It's really cool. Eagle Tire. It's Eagle Tire in St. George, Utah. What street is it on? See, I get that, Jeff. I get that completely. So it's on North Bluff. Eagle Tire on North Bluff in St. George, Utah. Go see Dylan. Tell him Coppercoins sent you. I like Eagle Tire. Yeah, send me a picture of your shop and send me a picture of your logo, and I'll run you a short commercial. I'll show you what it will look like during one of our shows. All right, we're going to get back to this. We've got Coin Dragon on the next coin. That's coin number 25. Coin number 25 in the roll, and here's Coin Dragon's coin. Let's see what we get out of this. It looks like we have a rather average-looking 1958D uncirculated Lincoln cent. We have a little bit going on, a little struck through going on the rim up there around 10 o'clock. Yeah, Dylan, you can send that information, a picture of the shop. You can send your logo to me via email at cd@coppercoins.com. cd@coppercoins.com. That's my personal email address. You can just send it directly to me. Got some stains on this coin. There's spots. This coin has spots. I don't like spots. Is 8 cents a coin good for BU 1957? Well, let's see. 1957 at 8 cents a coin. That's going to be $4 a roll. I'd say that's a pretty good job. Yeah, 8 cents a coin would be worth it. Absolutely. Oop. Get my bag back out and drag out the next name for coin 26. Coin 26. Next reveal sale, Stephen, will be during the auction this coming Tuesday, the 28th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Oop, there's another one of those. One of those little gadget things that appears to have a little corner of a D sticking out of the inside of the 9 of the date, but that is not a D. That is actually just a die chip. We know it's not going to be a D simply because there is absolutely no disturbance at all to the outer edge of the 9. And with it being that deep on the inside, you would think that there would have to be a disturbance on the outside, and there's just not. So that is not the corner of a mint mark. That is just a die chip. It's an interesting one nonetheless, but we do have spots on this coin as well. I did get into a little bit of a subject last night talking to people that we have a series of bags that I recently purchased, and I just received them the other day. And they are bags from the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis, Missouri. And these bags all came out during the mid-1970s, early to mid-1970s. Let me grab one of them and show it to you real quick. Well, actually, we'll do this after the roll reveal. Stick around, and we'll talk about it after the roll reveal. But basically what I have are lead-sealed bags that came from the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis between 1972 and 1974. And there are 50 rolls of pennies, or 100 rolls, 100 rolls of pennies wrapped up inside of each of these bags. There's another one of those, die number 1 on the day. This is die number 1 on the day. We have a die scratch above the 1 of the date. You can barely see it right there. Let's see if I can find a better marker to use. I'll get back into talking about the bags as soon as we get done with this coin here. Let's see. We'll get a heavy die scratch coming out of the left side of the T. So that heavy die scratch coming out of the left side of the T, and there's another one coming out of the left side of the R. We're going to use those as our markers on this particular die, so we can be sure that we know that we're receiving the same die over and over again. We'll look at the reverse on this one and see if there's any specific error issues to discuss on the reverse of this coin. Just like that coin that had that patch on the lower right wheat, that was a heavily grease-filled die area. It was interesting, something nice to talk about, and we wouldn't have known it at all if we hadn't checked the reverse, because it's not an obvious thing. So this one's Shannon McCord. All right, next one's going to be Eric Beyer. Yes, there's lots of room to polish between the 9 and the 5, and not as much between the 1 and the 9. But the thing that we have to look at when we were looking at that particular die is that it was extremely deep. It was as deep as the 9. And being as deep as the 9, if it went through the 9 to the backside and they tried to polish it off, they would end up polishing the 9 off as well. There were no signs of any heavy polishing in the area to take out any part of a D-punched mint mark. So there's nothing there stating that this was a D mint mark that was polished off. It looks more like a chip. And generally, what's more obvious or what's more plausible is exactly what happened, because usually the unusual doesn't happen. Going to be usually the usual is what happens. But these bags that I got were sealed bags of 100 rolls per bag. They still have the lead seal. And the lead seal tells us that no one's been into those since they were wrapped in the 70s. This is Paul Hampton's coin right here. Now, there's another one of them right there. You see how heavy that mark is on the inside of the 9? It's a very, very heavy mark. It's as tall as the relief of the 9 itself. So if you go over to the other side of the 9, there should be extensions of some sort sticking out if it was a D mint mark. And then if they tried to polish it off, you would be raising the field of the coin to polish off marks in the coin, because you would be lowering the field on the die. You'd be raising it on the coin. That would make the 9 a lot shallower. It would also still be apparent in some form or fashion. And it's just not. There's just nothing there. So that is a die chip. It's a die chip or die damage of some sort. But it's not a D mint mark. And we'll keep looking around here. This is a later die state example of it. In earlier die state, it is more convincing as a mint mark. It looks convincing, but it's not a mint mark at all. So these bags, I've got at least one that's a 1974 D, and I do believe I have one that's a 1973 D. Now, I've got 5 bags altogether. One of them was broken open and is a 74 D. But then there was another bag that had a hole in the side of it. And I was able to peer inside to see what the date and mint mark of the coins inside were. This one appears to be another die 1 on the day. Let's take a look. And it is. And it is, because it has that heavy die scratch coming out of the left side of the T and the left side of the R. So this is a die number 1 on the day. It has split upper and lower serifs. But the 1974 D bag that had been busted open was really cool. But this other bag that had the hole in the side of it, I was able to jimmy one of the rolls around to take a look at it and see that it had a 1967 coin on the end. Now, this 1967 coin was a circulated coin, which made me ponder and wonder. So I was able to get the roll out of the bag without opening the bag and look at the other side of it, and the other side of it was 1973. So I took another roll out of the bag to take a good close look at it. And this appears to be another die number 1 on the day, and it is. And it is. It has the same die scratches on the T and the R of trust. And so I got another roll out, and it had a 1974 on one end and a 1972 on the other end. So I decided, well, let me open one of these rolls just to see. So I opened it, and the entire roll was circulated coins. There were circulated coins, but there's a struck through area right there. But the circulated coins were wrapped in early 1974. I determined that because I opened 3 rolls, and there was a brand new shiny 1974 Lincoln Cent in there. The 1973s that were in there were also shiny, so that tells me that 73, 74 were new coins when this bag was wrapped. There were wheat pennies in there, and every other coin was prior to 1974, 1973. So there were plenty of 72, 71, 70, 69s. We know what those dates have to provide. If we find the right coins, we could end up with double dies galore. Double dies, repunch, mint marks, all sorts of wonderful things can come out of those rolls. And so I'm actually kind of more excited about having a circulated bag from 1974 than I would be having a 1974 bag that was all uncirculated coins. The Fed wraps, I opened 3 rolls, and there were 12 wheat cents in those 3 rolls. I think one roll had 8 wheat cents in it. All of the wheat cents were 40s and 50s. None of them were older. But they were what I would consider typical circulated coins for 1974. So we can get in our little time machine and jump back, 46 years? Is that right? 46 years to 1974? And open rolls as if we just got them out of the bank in 1974. But these are really cool. I'm thinking about doing a roll reveal on those, where regardless of what comes out of it, it's yours. So I saw in the 3 rolls I opened, I saw a 1971S. I saw a few 1972 planes. I saw some 1960D. I saw a 1961D. I saw the wheat cents that were in there, which were mostly 40s and 50s. Well, average condition is circulated. There were a number of 1968D Lincoln Cents in there. Average condition is going to be based on what coin you're looking at, what date or what age you're looking at. We're talking about 1974, so anything after 1966, 1967 is going to be very lightly circulated or not circulated at all. Anything prior to 1966 is going to be lightly circulated, going back to about 1955. 1955 on back, mixed. I mean, there wasn't anything heavily circulated in there. There were a few damaged coins. Blank inserts, not to make the little hats for birds to keep them warm. That's what I told her. She asked me what all the... I sent a bunch of blank flip inserts. I sent a bunch of blank ones to her in a box. And she asked, what are all these blank inserts for? I said, silly, They're for you to make little hats for the birds, to keep the birds warm. She's in Iowa where it snows a lot in the wintertime. Sissy Atwell gets the next coin. So yeah, this Fed bag thing is actually kind of cool. And I contacted the guy from whom I purchased the bags because he told me that they were uncirculated bags. There was a bag of 73 and a couple of bags of 74, and he wasn't really sure what dates they were, but there were 6 bags, and one of them had busted open. He sent me all the rolls, and I managed to jimmy a roll out of this one bag, and well, it was circulated. So I started going through them, and well, all the coins are circulated. But I don't care. That's actually nice. That's actually kind of cool sometimes. So Eric Beyer gets the next coin in the roll. What do we have for Eric Beyer? Looks like we have a minor, possibly minor repunchment mark with a lower split serif. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't think it is. I will be going through all of these coins again after I finish this roll and after we go off the air. I don't spend a lot of time on each coin while we're on the air so that we can have a 1-hour show, which that's already been busted because it's 11:58 now, but I didn't get started until 1 minute after, so we have a few minutes left. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the shows within 1 hour, so I'm trying to find anything that's fantastically amazing for us to talk about. And any of the minor stuff I happen to find, I'll find it under the other microscope after the show is over. Jeff Stanley, we must be just about the same age. 1974 is the year I turned 6 years old. Joe McBride. I turned 6 years old in 1974. I remember Sesame Street. I remember Captain Kangaroo. There's another one of those with the mark inside the 9. Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Moose, Mr. Green Jeans, Grandfather Cluck, and Sesame Street. How about the Electric Company? Yeah, the Electric Company. A lot of people don't remember, or it doesn't faze them when they think about it, that the Electric Company had young Morgan Freeman on it. The Voice of America, Morgan Freeman, one of my heroes. I just wish I could talk like him. If I could, I'd be doing a lot of commercial, I think. This one here is number 37. It's for Paul Hampton. Wonder how many people here actually knew that Captain Kangaroo was a decorated war veteran. That's right, go look him up. He's a decorated war veteran. October of 69? That's when you were born? You're more than a year younger than me. Hey, there we go. There's a nice clear example of die number 1 for the day. And we'll go up here and check to be sure. Oh, nope, wait a minute. This could be a different die. This could be a different die. I'm going to set this one off to the side. Oh, it is a different die for sure. Look at these concentric die gouges. Anybody got a record player? Oh, man. Nice marker there. Concentric die gouges going, oh, look through the date and everything. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Definitely a nice little repunchment mark, and I think this is the first one I've seen of this die today. So we're going to call this die number 2 for the day and put Mr. Dunn's name with it. And that'll be coin number 38. Next coin, number 39, we'll go to Coin Dragon. die for Coin Dragon. We have another one. Awesome. Another one of the same die. Yeah, look at those concentric die scratches. Very nice. Heavy gouges, too. I'm going to say that this had to have been done during the reduction lathe part of creating a die, which basically what they do is they take a large epoxy mold and they use a tracing stylus that traces the design from the large epoxy mold and cuts it into a die that's much smaller. And if that needle is somehow stuck or jostled or moved improperly as it's doing its tracing, the other one cuts a little bit too deeply into the die, and that's what you end up with. You end up with these little gouges. So that's a nice one. That's for Coin Dragon. Got a second repunch mint mark of the same die coming out. 2 coins in a row. Coin number 38 and coin number 39. Let's take a look at coin number 40. That's Eric Byer's coin. Eric Byer gets coin number 40, and it's not another one of those. But that's okay. Hello, Time Travelers Coin Exchange. Good morning to you too. And to Hector. Good morning to you, sir. Although here on the East Coast, it is officially afternoon. It's 3 minutes after noon. So I must officially say good day. That's coin number 40 for Eric Byer. Coin number 41 will go to Farm Dog. There's another one. Oh, this one a little more marked up, but it's still the same die. It's got these heavy die scratches, concentric die scratches, and we have a split on the upper and lower serifs. A nice example of that RPM. Don't yet know which RPM it is, but that's a nice one. Oh, there's a die crack down there. A die crack and a die break in the lower right wheat. Nice one. So that's another example of die number 2 on the day, and this one goes to Farm Dog. It's coin number 41. I will, of course, be going through all of these coins again to be sure I did or did not miss anything, but I won't miss anything the second time around. We've already got 3 examples of die number 2 on the day ready, and let's see if Jeff Dunn gets one in coin number 42. Nope. This is not another one of them. And it looks like coin number 42 might turn out to be just a normal 1958 D-Lincoln cent. Let's take a look at the reverse and see what we get on the reverse. Nothing on the reverse that I can see, so we're going to move on from coin number 42 for Jeff Dunn to coin number 43. Number 43 will go to Deanne. Let's see what Deanne gets. Well, Deanne gets a die 1 on the day. I do believe that's what this is. Let me go up and take a look. No, it is not. Do not have the same markers, and it appears that we do have a very minor split serif. Oh, maybe not. Nope, it's not a split serif. Now, where my head is wandering to today, but wherever it's wandering to, it needs to come back. We have a normal coin here that I thought was a die variety. Oh, he's smoking a little pencil. See that? A little tiny cigarette. I know better than to smoke. I did it for a long, long time. Glad I no longer do. but I might. Trying to watch the Syracuse-Pittsburgh basketball game and this at the same time. Oh, wait. Marshall gets the next coin, but Deanne, I have to get her name in with this coin. All right, there's Mr. Marshall. Let's see what Mr. Marshall gets. And Mr. Marshall gets one of those RPMs. So those RPMs with the concentric die gouges running all the way around the obverse of the coin. And we have a double split serif, split upper and lower. Everybody make note of Penny Parent's link right there and go visit that link to see the list of coins that she'll be running for auction beginning at 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. That's Sunday, the 26th of December. She's going to be running an auction you don't want to miss because it's the Coin Night Live Auction Weekend Edition with your host, Jessica Johnson. Got a cute little commercial I made on that. Doesn't say much of anything except exactly what I just said. And it does not include the time, because at the time I didn't know what the time would be. So I couldn't include the time at that time. Okay, this one appears to definitely have a split lower serif at least. So let's go see if it's die number 1 on the day, and it is. This is die number 1 on the day. This is another example of die number 1 for today, because it has heavy die scratches coming out of the left side of the T and R of trust. This die being this one right here, because I didn't see when your message popped up. I do believe that you're talking about this one that I'm calling die number 1 on the day. I would like to know its actual die number if you have it. Hello, David L. I will explain to you how this happens. How this works is I get original bank-wrapped rolls from sources and sell the coins in the bank-wrapped roll to individuals prior to opening the bank-wrapped roll so that nobody knows what they're going to get before the actual roll is opened. Today's roll was a 1958D roll. And this particular 1958D roll came from an original source. It is an original roll. Coins were $2 a piece. And we're running into some pretty decent stuff, but this is not one of the better examples of a roll. But for instance, Paul Hampton purchased a spot in this roll, and you'll notice that I just drew his name and put it out in front of me. And Paul Hampton will receive this very coin. As I draw the coins out of the roll, I draw a name with them. And that name belongs to that coin, and that coin will be shipped to that person. Now, if this happened to have been a $100 double die or something, he would still get this coin. Whatever pops out is exactly what the person receives. So there's no chance that I'm fixing any of this or stacking the deck, or whatever you might want to call it. It's a completely honest way of being able to sell a roll from an original source prior to actually opening that roll. And we have pulled some nice stuff out. We pulled 2 1956D OMMs yesterday. Those came at $2 a coin, I believe. So you can get some pretty nice stuff. We pulled a Gem BU 1938 Lincoln cent out of an original 1938 roll that had a clip. And this coin is a fantastic Gem BU coin. And it has a clip. Nice bright red coin. With a clip planchet, we're talking about a $50, maybe $75 coin for 1938 Philadelphia. Those coins were $9. $9 prior to the opening of the roll. The way that you get involved in this is you come to the auctions Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I do an auction. You make sure you register to bid at the auction. You register to bid by sending your PayPal email address, your name, and your YouTube screen name to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. We'll get you registered, and then when you show up to the auction, you'll be ready to start bidding or purchasing. Here's another one of those with the little die chip inside the 9 of the date. Dog's down there barking at the TV. So you register to bid by sending your full name, your YouTube screen name, and PayPal email address to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. Then when you come to the auction, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, you can bid on any of the lots that we have up for auction. And toward the end of the auction, we actually start doing the roll reveals, where I show you the entire roll that we'll be revealing later on in the week. And I sell the spots, or the 50 coins, in those rolls, and then tell you when we're going to do the broadcast to open the roll. I open the roll on screen in front of you live, go through the coins live. Everything is on top of the table right here. But when you are in the auction on Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, to purchase roll reveal spots, you got to be fast. You got to be fast. You've got to be live. You've got to be right on the edge of your seat, ready to hit the button. Because I tell you what, these rolls sell out inside of seconds. 15 seconds and every roll I reveal is sold out. You can have fun coming and watching the roll be open, because I do teach everyone a number of things about Lincoln Cents while I'm going through the roll. I started doing it basically as filler, just to make sure that I was saying something so you would know that I hadn't dropped my connection or anything, or that my microphone was still working. As Paul Hampton gets coin number 50, this is the last coin in the roll. And what ended up occurring was kind of unexpected. People were telling me that they were very thoroughly entertained by the show because I was actually teaching them something. And I took that to heart and started actually coming up with more and more to say about the coins that we're looking through while we're looking through them, so that you could learn what I'm showing you during the show. These shows air between 3 and 6 times per week. I usually start on Wednesday and run them through Friday or Saturday. They last about an hour to an hour and a half long. So what I preliminarily have out of this roll is roughly 35 normal coins, roughly 35 normal coins. And then I have a small stack of die 1 on the day. These are all die 1, so they are all repunchment marks. And then I have a short stack of 4 die number 2 for the day. These are the ones with the concentric die gouges running around the rim. And any number of these could possibly be these. I'm going to go through the entire roll again, and I'm going to put it all back together for you and get them mailed off. Now, the show that we're going to be having coming up, I believe at 1 o'clock, at 45 minutes from now, will be a roll of 1957D. This original roll of 1957D Lincoln Cents that came out of the Governor Vanderveer hoard. The Governor Vanderveer of the state of Georgia collected coins. And when he passed, his coin collection was handed down and sold. And I ended up buying the penny rolls out of his deal. So this roll of pennies right here was actually owned by the governor of Georgia. And now we're going to open it, coming up in our next show. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to get you acclimated to some things that are going to be happening soon. Moving over to camera with me on it. I'll show you something. This is a bag containing 100 rolls of Lincoln Cents from the Fed Reserve Bank of St. Louis, Missouri. And it still has the original lead seal and label came with it. And this label reads Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. It gives the P.O. Box, the zip code. It says $50 and cents. And on the back of this is stamped FRB St. Louis, Feb 25, 1974, and then the number 12, which I'm not really sure what the number 12 stood for. But this is an original sealed bag from the Fed Reserve Bank of St. Louis. There it is again. And I have a number of bags and a number of rolls. I like doing things as honestly as possible, as you know. So I'm going to be selling roll reveals out of the bags that I have here that are sealed from the Fed Reserve. And what I'm going to do is sell the coin spots before I open the bag. And I'm going to be busting the lead seal on the bag at the time that we actually do the reveal. And then I'll reach in and grab a roll, and we'll go through that roll. So it's going to be not only a roll reveal, but also a bag reveal, because whatever's in the bag is something no one has seen since 1974. Now, in addition to that, these are rolls that came out of a sealed bag, which is still sealed, but there was a hole in the side, so I was able to poke rolls up through the hole. And you'll see that some of the coins are actually uncirculated that are on the ends, but the other coins are circulated. I've not seen what's inside these rolls, but other rolls that came from this same bag that came from the Fed Reserve Bank of St. Louis had wheat cents in them. They had uncirculated cents in them. They also had circulated cents of various dates and mint marks. A couple of repunch mint marks I found in there, and there could be double dies, repunch mint marks, and all sorts of errors and nice, pretty things. But they come out of these rolls, and these rolls are circulated coins. But you can see that the condition of the coins is actually pretty nice. They are circulated coins. Most of them are from the 60s, and a few from the 70s. And I have 97 rolls. 97 rolls. Got a bag that's almost full. And see, in my almost full bag, there was a hole. And that hole allows me to take rolls out of the bag without taking the seal off the bag. So that's what these are. And so I think we may be doing some reveals on the uncirculated or the circulated rolls that come out of this sealed in 1974 bag. We'll have a chance of doing reveals on that. I think I'm going to do reveals on these at, I may do, I don't know, 50 cents a coin. We'll see what we get out of it. I mean, you could get, who knows what could be in here. There could be all kinds of interesting things in here. But anyway, that's what I've got. And that's all I've got for now. I do have to prepare myself for the next reveal, which I do believe is coming up at 1 o'clock. Let me check my channel real quick. And I need to be writing this stuff down. Here. Go to my channel real quick and pick out when I am scheduled to be back on. I am scheduled to be back on at, oh, come on. This is not upcoming. Here we go. It is going to be at 1 o'clock p.m. So we're talking about 40 minutes from now. 40 minutes from now, we're going to have another show. It's going to be for the 57D roll that I just showed you right here. This 1957D from the Governor's Hoard. So I need to go get myself prepared for it because I don't have the flip inserts done yet. My printer was acting up on me this morning and disallowed me from printing flip inserts, which are going to be special inserts because these coins came from the Governor's Hoard. So go ahead and take off for now. I appreciate everyone showing up, and we'll be back in 40 minutes. Go back to the channel, look for the video, click on it, like it, share it, and come back. We'll be here in 40 minutes. 38 minutes. 38 minutes, folks. I'll see you then.